Rushworth is Executive Officer of Brain Injury Australia, which is a central clearinghouse of information and a gateway to services throughout Australia for people living with brain injury and their supporters, family and friends. So Nick, tell me, what's Brain Injury Australia's main function?
Brain Injury Australia has been around since 1986. And when I first started in this role, God knows back in 2008, what I found was there were certain underserviced, underrepresented subgroups inside the population. And there are 700,000 Australians with an acquired brain injury, importantly, with daily activity limitations and participation restrictions. Mm-hmm. So people profoundly disabled by their brain injury. But there are subgroups underneath stroke or traumatic brain injury that don't often get the attention that they deserve. So the leading cause of death and disability in abused children is something called inflicted traumatic brain injury, sometimes referred to as abusive head trauma or shaken baby syndrome. And part of what Brain Injury Australia has been trying to do for the last several years is, with the assistance of a perpetrator, a young woman who shook her 2-month-old son who sustained a brain injury, with her assistance, to spearhead a parent education campaign about the dangers of shaking a child, an infant, particularly in response to inconsolable crying, often in the middle of the night, often with a single parent, often someone who's worked their ass off and they're dead tired and they simply want to go to sleep.
The 9th National Brain Injury Australia Conference is on in September in Adelaide. What's the conference all about?
What makes the conference, the National Brain Injury Conference, unique almost, as opposed to other disability conferences, is the fact that this conference is really led. It gives pride of place in the program to people with lived experience as presenters, as people sharing their own experience, as a way of teaching those other professionals about what they really need when it comes to either themselves or, dare I say, in an enormous gesture of public spiritedness, those who come after, the next person with a brain injury, or the one after that, or the one after that. So that the way that occupational therapists or social work counsellors or neurosurgeons or neurologists or general practitioners, the way they deal with those people will be better than the last time they did. So what that also means is, I think it's fair to say, as someone with lived experience, but also someone who talks to around about 300 different people each and every year on the phone or via email, people with lived experience, that brain injury can often be one of the most socially isolating and marginalising disabilities available. So a key part of the conference, apart from people presenting about their experience, is the kind of, I guess you'd call it, collegiality that comes from people with a brain injury attending the conference with their families, with their carers, to meet other people who've got similar kinds of experiences. So it can be reinforced by the conference that you are not alone. There are other people who've been through a similar kind of experience to yourself, and this is an opportunity to meet them in an attractive setting where you can also hear people speak about their experience, but also learn from clinicians, learn from service providers, learn from policymakers, that kind of thing.
At Aussie Injury Lawyers, we find that quite often it's the family and friends of the affected person who are able to be instrumental in getting them the help that they need. If a friend or a family member has been forced out of work because of illness or injury, get in contact with us so we can ascertain what we can do to assist. Our service is completely no win, no pay, and all fees are agreed and set out up front before anything is done. We look forward to hearing from you.
That's all for this week. If you want to contact us about anything with the new you, send us an email. See you next week.